Welcome back. Well, police say a mistake by a school bus driver in Louisville, Kentucky led to the 10-hour disappearance of a 16-year-old student with autism. As Fox's Travis Ragsdale reports, officials with the school district are promising changes to keep this from happening again.
16-year-old Kyle Line has autism, and when he got dropped off nearly 8 miles from his home on Thursday, he tried to take matters into his own hands.
I tried to find my way home from the place that they mistakenly dropped me.
JCPS confirms he got on the wrong bus and went to his old house, even though his mother updated his information 2 weeks before school started.
He got onto a bus for a previous address. We are still investigating how that happened.
I don't know how, but it needs to be fixed. And this should never happen again, especially with a special needs child.
LMPD says it began a search for Kyle shortly after 5 o'clock when 911 received a call from family to report Kyle missing.
As our officers responded and made contact with the family, they did not believe that the 16-year-old was in danger for himself, but they did start an immediate search of the area.
But according to LMPD, this is when its officers received incorrect information.
The bus driver informed our officers that the 16-year-old did ride the bus and what location that they dropped the child off at. And it was determined that the 16-year-old was actually not even on the original bus, that he was on a different bus in a different location where he was dropped off.
LMPD says without this mistake, Kyle would likely have been found much faster.
Something went wrong. We are trying to determine what it was. We're grateful that that student is safe with his family.
Shortly after 8 o'clock, JCPS and LMPD scoured bus cameras to determine exactly where he went after school.
Ultimately, our video from buses and schools was able to help us understand which bus the student had gotten on, and we were able to help police in locating him.
When we were able to get updated information of the bus that he was actually riding, we were able to find him shortly after that.
Kyle was found just after 1 a.m. at the home of his step-grandparents.
It concerns me and it infuriates me at this point. To have an autistic child, regardless of age or function, to have him unsupervised from the front door of a school all the way until he gets to the bus stop where I can pick him up is unthinkable. It never should have happened.
And that was Fox's Travis Ragsdale reporting. Nobody was hurt, but people in Madison, Wisconsin are forced to evacuate their apartments. That's after a giant sinkhole opens up, leading to concerns about the potential for gas leaks. 3 cars fell into that sinkhole in a parking lot early on Friday. Officials say the sinkhole was caused by a water line break. Buses were brought in to shelter evacuated residents. Amanda Cox, our meteorologist, tracking a pretty much beautiful weekend, but there may be some rain in our forecast. We can handle it though, right?
Yeah, we can handle it. We definitely need the precipitation. Unfortunately, not everybody's going to see something, but we do have about 90 degrees right now, so it is steamy out there. Other parts of the area, northern sections, a little bit cooler, and that's for the simple fact that some rain has been pushing through the area, and a lot of that activity has mainly been confined to the higher elevations, but you can see a little bit is snuck down towards Statesville as well as Salisbury, and we do expect to see a little bit of activity. You can even see northeastern sections of the metro are even seeing a nice shower at this hour, but we are still at a severe drought for a good portion of our area, and even though we are seeing this precipitation, there are parts of the area that have picked up quite a bit. However, there are parts that just keep getting missed, and that's where we're getting this big deficit. So even though we're saying that a good portion of our area is in a significant deficit, there are other places that actually are seeing a good amount of precipitation, and they're not quite as bad. So it's something, it just depends on where you're at in the viewing area. Now, temperatures overnight are going to be in the 60s. It really is going to be a decent overnight. Once the shower activity does die off, we'll just be left with partly cloudy skies. As we get into the day tomorrow, will be very similar. 80s and 90s, a little bit cooler further off to the north. Shower thunderstorm will be possible across our northern sections. Once again, we don't expect a whole lot of activity, but anything that does pop up could contain some heavier rain, and that's about it. We really don't have a threat for severe weather, but there is that possibility for some showers and thunderstorms across our western sections. Now, what I want you to notice on the water content, notice we're on the drier side. We have come up a little bit, but all of this moisture is going to get pushed into our atmosphere. We become very yellow and orange. That's that moisture content. Now, look back to the north and west. Here's a cold front, and this system is eventually going to be coming into the region. So we actually have a couple of disturbances that will be affecting us as we get into this next week. And you really can kind of see where those are going to be at. So we do have that potential for a shower thunderstorm possible each and every day. However, Tuesday and Friday look to be our best chances with those frontal boundaries coming through the region. With that being said, each front is on the weaker side, and so we're not expecting a ton over the next 7 days.
We're buying benefits when we're already covered with our credit card, so that is ridiculous.
If you're looking for a new credit card, you might want to make sure you're getting the best deal and the best rate. What you can look out for in the latest edition of our Shoppers Market series. Fox 46 News will be right back.